Hey there guys, how's it going? It's Carter Srirac, and in today's video I'm talking about Notion and the Notion API. So if you don't know what API stands for, it stands for Application Programming Interface. I'm assuming you know what API stands for, or what an API does at least a basic level if you're watching this video. But if you don't, it basically allows Notion to connect with other applications, and it allows other applications to connect with Notion and send information in and out of each of the softwares. I hope that makes sense. But today I'm actually going to show you how to use the Notion API with another app called Zapier. Now, Zapier allows us to connect Notion with thousands of other apps, and it doesn't require any coding. It just requires a basic knowledge of how each program works. So let's jump right into it. Without further ado, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to use the Notion API. Alright, so I'm here in Notion, and right now, the way that I have Notion set up, it doesn't necessarily allow me to connect with outside apps. So I actually have to give permission to the page that I want to connect with an app. So in order to do that, you're going to want to go to Settings and Members, and then you're going to want to go down to Integrations. Now, you'll notice that I already have an integration here. I'm just going to disconnect it just so that we can start fresh. This is what it'll probably look like for most of you guys if you're starting out with Notion and with the Notion integration. So once you guys are ready, you're going to want to hit Develop Your Own Integrations. And then you're going to hit Create New Integration. You're going to give it a name. I like to name the integration after whatever I'm actually integrating with. So for today, I'm going to be giving an example of how to basically connect Notion with Google Forms, and I'm going to show you guys how to use Google Forms to send information over to Notion once we get new applicants filling out a form. Forms to Notion. And I'm just going to make sure I have the workspace selected that I want to connect with. My Greenline Media workspace will work just fine. And then I'm going to hit Submit. And then it's going to give you this internal integration token. Now this is something to be kept secret. You don't want to show this to the general public. You want to make sure that this just says internal integration. And then once you're ready, later on we're actually going to have to use this code. So I'm just going to leave my tab open here with this code, and we're going to move on to the next step. And in this new tab, I'm just going to type in Zapier, Z-A-P-I-E-R, hit enter. And then I'm going to click on Zapier.com. Next, you're just going to want to create a new account. So I'm just going to hit sign up with Google. And I already have an account, but this is pretty straightforward if you don't. Just sign up with your Google or create an account with something else and just get signed in. Once you've signed up for an account with Zapier, you're just going to want to go to the Make a Zap button. It might run you through a tutorial. It might have you do a few things, but once you have gotten through that kind of setup phase, just hit Make a Zap. Okay? And this is where we're going to need a Google form. So now that we've got our Zapier open in one tab and we've got your Notion integration set up in another, you're going to want to pull up the app that you want to integrate with. So I'm just going to pull up Google Forms. And I'm just going to create a new form. This form is going to be, just as an example, it's going to be a ticketing system that pulls in customer tickets. Okay, so if somebody has a problem, they can fill out this form and it'll make our team aware of it, and it'll pull all that information into a Notion database, which before that wasn't possible, but now with the integration this is possible, so this is awesome news. So let's just give it a title. Ticket form, enter your problem below. What is your category of problem? That'll be the first question. And then let's just say sales related is one of the problems, billing related, technical. Okay, so this is literally just an example. You guys could put any information in here, but I'm just using the multiple choice here to first figure out what the problem is related to. I'm going to make that required, then I'm going to duplicate, and I'm going to change to paragraph, and I'm going to change this here to describe your problem. Okay, and here the user can describe their problem. And then we're going to do one last section here that just is a short answer, and we're just going to put name. So normally you'd put like email and stuff like that in here as well, just so you can contact the person again. But I'm just doing this for an example, so I'm actually going to move name to the top. And we're just going to keep these 3 questions on here, these 3 form entries, and people can actually fill this out, and then they can get their problem resolved, right? And this is really a way for us to organize the different tickets that come in. So I'm going to change this theme option here to, let's just make it teal, background color, gray, or maybe we go blue, since this is already blue here. So it matches nicely. I'm going to make the background gray, and I'm going to close this. And now from here, I want to go to settings, and I'm actually going to turn off this restrict button because I want to put this on a public Notion page where people can actually fill out this ticketing form. Now this was possible before the API, but I'm just adding this in here just to make this example a little bit more practical and a little bit more real world. So once you've turned that off, just hit save. Then we're going to go to send. And you're going to make sure that you go over to this embed section here, and you're just going to copy the iframe. Right, copy there. I'm going to go back to Notion, and I'm actually just going to create a new page in here that's just ticket responses. Okay, so ticket responses. And as you guys can see, that adds to my synced block menu. If you guys don't know how to create a menu like this in Notion, I recommend you check out the Sync Blocks video. But this particular page that I've just created, I want to be a public page, so I don't want to have links to everything else. I'm going to actually just delete the sync block in this particular instance. And I'm going to just create a new title for my page. So this is going to be a public-facing page, so I'm just going to put enter your problems here. and I know that's pretty straightforward. I'd probably think about how to write that out a little bit better, but for now that will suffice. And we're going to put an embed, so I'm actually going to do /embed, and I'm going to paste in, and then hit embed link. So if we want to be able to share this, we'd literally just go up here and hit share, and then you could share the link with others just by inviting them or sharing it to the web and publishing it live. Then what you'll have is you'll basically just have a single page that people can view and enter their responses in on. So let's say I am a customer coming to this page and I have a problem. So my name is Carter and I have a sales related problem, and I'm going to submit that. All right, now you'll see that the ticket form has been submitted. So that's the customer facing side. Now imagine I'm over here and oh, look at that, we just got a response. Okay, I'm on the other side of the phone now, right? I'm the actual person that's getting these responses. So I'm just going to click on create spreadsheet, and I'm going to name this ticket responses. And then in parentheses, I'm just going to put API connect, just so I know that that's the one I want to connect to. Okay, and then I'm going to hit create. And now we've got this spreadsheet that automatically pulls in everything that comes into that form over here, or I guess over here on ticket responses, right? So now we want to interpret that data on another front. So I'm actually going to create another page, and I'm just going to call it all tickets. Okay, and this is where our team will be able to manage those tickets. Okay, this is where the team manages tickets from customers. Ticket management is what we'll call the page. And again, if you guys haven't seen the video where I show you how to set up this synced blocks menu. Definitely check it out. I'll have it linked in the description, and we should have it coming up as a card in the corner. Right here, I am going to add in a table. But in order to add in a table, we've got to make sure that it's an actual page, not an inline table, because this API doesn't connect to inline tables. It only connects to pages right now. So I'm going to go into control panel here, and this is kind of just where I keep some more pages in the background. And I'm just going to click and create a page, and I'm going to make it a table, and I'm just going to make this the management area for tickets. And then we're actually just going to go back over here to the ticket responses, and I'm going to check out which columns I want to pair up with Notion, so, and what they actually are, right? So we have some categories, and those categories are sales related, billing related, technical problem, or general inquiry. Let's create those in Notion really quick so we have something to match up to. I'm going to go back over to the management area. I'm going to paste that. And we're going to make the main field here just customer name. Actually, this needs to be a select, and it needs to say department. And then we're just going to paste in sales related, and then we also need to grab billing related, technical problem, and general inquiry. So billing related. Technical problem, make sure you type it right, and general inquiry. Okay, and then I'm just going to delete those out of there because they will be saved. So now when I click, I can see that they're all in here. And I'm just going to delete these rows here. We're just going to leave it to 1. So now we've got customer name, department, and then what else do we need? Well, if we go back and look, we need a place for them to describe their problem. That's the last thing we need. So you don't actually have to create a column for that. You can simply create that within the page, and that's what I recommend doing. But we will create a column for person, and this is where we can assign the problem to somebody to resolve. So assign problem, or assign ticket. Let's just say ticket, because it's not always a problem, right? Assign ticket. And then from here, I can actually pull in my team members and assign different people to this ticket. Pretty cool. And then we can also create a date column. So date of entry. This is going to be the day that the actual person entered. This is going to be the day that that person entered the response. So we have a good idea of what order these tickets are coming in. Now we're ready to basically integrate this. So I'm going to go back to my home page. I'm going to go back to my ticket management page. So I'm just going to hit /linked database. And I'm just going to type in management. I'm going to start typing the name of the page, management area for tickets. That's the page that we want to link in. And now we have our inline version of that full page. Okay, so does that make sense what we did there? We have the inline version here, and then we can click over to our full page, which we're going to be able to connect with the API, because you can't link an inline table. You have to link a page that's actually a database. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to add a little icon here. And then we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of actually connecting the API. So what you're going to want to do at this point is go back over to Zapier, click on Google Forms, or search here for Google Forms if you don't see it, or whatever else you're trying to integrate. And I'm going to click Google Forms. And then when it says new response in spreadsheet, I want to click that, okay, and hit continue. Then I want to sign into Google Forms. Click on the account that I'm signed into for Google Forms and hit allow. And then that should load up. It should pull your Google Forms account right here, and then you can hit continue. And spreadsheet, you're going to want to click on, and you're going to want to select the one that you connected earlier. So I'm going to hit that one. This is API Connect. And then we're going to go to worksheet, And it should be the first worksheet unless you've created multiple worksheets. So that corresponds to this form response is one worksheet right here, right? So I'm going to click worksheet, form response is 1. Then we're going to hit continue. Now I'm going to hit test trigger. And if you've already put, some information through this form, it should pull this test, okay, right? If you guys remember, right, I had Carter, sales-related problem. I'm upset with the way I was treated on a sales call. Continue. It's going smooth so far. Now we're going to integrate Notion, okay? Now this is where that private key comes in. So I'm going to type in Notion over here. I'm going to find Notion, which is in beta right now. So you're going to click on that. And you're going to click Action Event. And Create Database Item is what we want to do. Then we're going to hit Continue. Sign into Notion. And this is where we need that token, okay? So I'm going to go back over to my page that I just created the token on. Do not share this with anyone outside of, Zapier, because that's the only place that you want it to go. You don't want other people to know this because then they can integrate with your particular workspace. So I'm going to hit Show, Copy. Then I'm going to go down and hit Save Changes. Okay, and then I'm going to come back over here to Zapier. I'm going to paste that in and hit Yes, Continue. Now, another thing that we actually have to do is we have to go back over to the management area and we have to share this integration. So hit Share. Then you're going to want to click on this little invite area and you're going to want to select the integration that you've just created. So remember, I created Forms to Notion. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to hit Invite. Make sure it says Can Edit. Now we're going to go back over to Zapier, hit Continue, and everything should go through if you've done those steps properly. All right, then you're going to hit Database, and that should be the only one in there because that's the only database we're sharing right now with the API. You can share multiple databases with the API if you want to, though. Just keep that in mind. All right, I'm going to click on Management Area for Tickets. And then this is where we're going to start mapping the data. Remember, we had that field in Notion, customer name, right here. So we're just going to click here, and we're going to find where the customer name should come from. Well, it should come from the names column in the Google Forms, right? Then we're going to assign ticket. We have no idea who we want to assign the ticket to yet, so we're going to leave that blank. I'm going to go over to date of entry, and I'm going to show all options, and there should be a timestamp here. So I'm going to click the timestamp. Then for department, we're going to click on that, and at first it's only going to pull up all of the fields that Notion has, but we're actually going to want to go to custom. We're going to hit show all options, and we're going to click on what is your category of problem. Okay, and then for content, last but not least, we're going to go to describe your problem, and that part here, content, is actually what's inside of the page on Notion. So now I'm going to hit continue, and then test and continue. And if we go over here, hit refresh, well, you see it pull in there. You didn't even need to hit refresh, but the data comes into Notion directly. So now we can actually go in and assign the ticket. Let's say I assign the ticket to myself. Okay, then the cool thing about this is, imagine you have tons of different responses in here. From that point, you can actually go to filter, and you could create a filter. Maybe you just want to show the sales related. Maybe you want to create a view, maybe a board, right, where you have all the sales related inquiries here. You have all the billing related here, technical, general. Maybe you want to view it as, a timeline. Maybe you want to see when all of these came in. So you'll see like this one came in on the 2nd, and then you can kind of see how many inquiries you got at different times of the year or different times of the month. You could view it as a gallery. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that exactly, but it would give you an overview of kind of just like name of customer and like what the problem is. So it might be a good way to see things. So if you want to continue getting responses, you're going to want to make sure the Zap is turned on. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. We basically went through what the Notion API is, what it does, and then we went into an example of how to set up a ticketing system. And that served as a way for me to teach you guys about how the API works and how you can use it with no code by taking advantage of applications like Zapier that connect apps through their APIs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe, please like this video, and if you guys did have any feedback, please leave a comment below and let me know. I'm always open to feedback. I read all of the comments, or at least I try to. It's getting a little bit harder to keep up with, but I try my very best. And I just appreciate you guys so much for watching. So I want to say thank you again. Signing off for now. Peace.